Well, hey guys, we're back.
Your heart, keep it in your pocket for safekeeping. Don't ever let nobody be the reason.
Welcome to Dope After 40, the podcast.
Here, I want to welcome you all back to Dope After 40, the podcast. I am your host, Nisi Marie. And as you can see, I got the beautiful, the incomparable Dr. Leslie Becton in the house. Les,
Where you been, baby?
girl,
I've missed you.
the definition of hiatus has my picture like all just popping up all around it in the dictionary, girl. Life, Les. I don't even. It's just that's gonna be my excuse. You know how it is.
You look good. You still
know, that ain't
fine.
never gonna stop, all right? That ain't never gonna stop. Glad to have you back, Les. I have missed talking to you. People have been asking about you. What you been up to?
Same thing. My business is keeping me so busy.
Yeah, it's just good.
Expansion and, kids and
Yeah.
life.
You told me you've been working out, Les. How's that been going?
I love to work out. I've been working out since I was a child.
Okay.
But I think as we kind of get into this dopeness of our 40s, we got to switch it up. And so I've been switching it up lately, and I really like to switch up.
That's
So I've
good.
been doing like introducing more strength training
Okay.
and just like things that I totally felt like I would just never do. Like I'm not gonna be lifting no weights, girl.
Leslie, I'm struggling over here. All right. I may look good, but that is a falsehood. Okay. I am
It's all
struggling.
good.
I love the gym. I absolutely love it. But I have to try to maintain a consistency because when I'm there, I go so hard. I love it. I like how I feel when I leave. It's just getting up and going. Like that's my
Yeah,
biggest hurdle. But when I get there, I'm there for hours. It's just getting there. I don't know why it's so difficult. Why it's so hard. You got any
yeah.
tips? What tips you got?
No, I don't have no tips for you because I feel
No
the same
tips for
exact
me.
way. Yeah, I don't like working out by myself. Like if I had to work out by myself, I never would. Like
Yeah.
I realized that I like to work out in a group. So I go to a
Mhm.
boot camp and I have like friends at the boot camp who even if when I don't feel like it, we like send each other like group messages. Are you
Oh,
coming
see
today? Are you going
that
to?
that
Yeah.
I need an accountability partner. I think that's my biggest. I think you're just giving me an idea. I need an accountability partner because I think with that, and I think a lot of people have actually said that. I know when I used to work out back in the day with a group of my girlfriends, um, we just found ourselves, just make it. We would go. I think we had like 5 a.m. sessions, but we would just find ourselves calling each other the night before, even when someone was
Hmm.
going to the excuse as to why they couldn't come and pushing that person to say, no, let's go. Come on, get it. It's
Yep.
only for 45 minutes to an hour. Let's knock it out. You'll be done for the day. And I don't have that accountability partner, and I feel like I'm struggling. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I got to figure
That's what you
something.
need. That's the
Yeah,
best advice I can give you. I think I've always had one. In all of the years that I've always stayed committed to my workout, I've
yeah.
always had an accountability partner. Me and one of my close friends, Nicole, we still work out together.
Okay.
And then when I'm not working out with her, I'm definitely going to be going to that boot camp, or I got like another trainer who likes to work out in groups. So I
Okay.
like to work out in groups. That's what I realized. I'm a
That's your
group
thing. That's
workout
unique.
person.
Yeah. Well, that's why you look so goddamn good, lad. I don't know.
Let's go.
I'm gonna have to put up a full body so y'all can see Miss Leslie Becton because Lad's got it going on. But you said you work out with your girlfriend.
Me and my friend Nicole, we've been working out together for years.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we used to work together, and we worked together for 15 years, and we used to just work out on our lunch break.
See, I gotta tell you, Les. I've known you for years. I've known you for a long time, and I've known I call them your sister friends. I've
Mm-hmm.
known your squad of girls, and I gotta say, I've always admired the relationship that you guys have had. You just always seem tight. I've never, anytime you guys have had a function, anytime I've seen pictures on Instagram, I see the same faces. You know what I mean? Never anyone wavering. How do you keep how do you keep that friendship going after so many years and so many different, egos? How do those friendships last and stand the test of time?
Denise, I was so thrilled when you said that you wanted to talk about this topic
Hmm.
because literally, me and my friends, we have a group chat. It's like 13 of us, and we are on a group chat and we just talk crap all day long, nonstop. You name it. But I realized that if I could take my friendship and all of the love and the support and all of the everything that I get from my group of sister friends, if I could bottle it up and monetize it, I would be a freaking billionaire
I bet.
because like this topic is so near and dear to my heart. Like I freaking love them.
Mhm.
Um I don't even know where to start, Denise, because honestly, my friends, a lot of them I've had since my one friend Tanya, I met Tanya in kindergarten. I was 5 years old, she was four.
Talking about
Like
standing
I
the
always
test of
say,
time. Well, let's start with this. Let's start. What is it? What are the values that are important to you in a friendship today? So what's important to you now in a friendship compared to 10, 15, 20 kindergarten? You know what I mean? What's important to you now opposed to what's important to you back in the day?
so my friends are so near and dear to me because they range from all the way back in the day. And I'm talking about all the way back. I have friends from middle school, high school, and college. And
Okay.
my close friend Nicole, I actually met her when I was in my profession. But I'm always open to meeting friends, right? And so when people say things like, I don't know how women could like have friends, I'm not really that close to friends. I don't really understand how people can
That's
go
a
through
red
life.
flag for me. That's a red when I hear women say that, that's a red flag for me because
Yes.
I don't understand how you don't have any women friends. But go continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I always was like, kind of thrown off by that because I've always just been so super close to my friends.
Right.
And I feel like no matter what, we've always been loyal to each other. It's almost like we kind of found each other, like almost like kindred type spirits. Like I've never met a friend that I didn't connect with and vibe with. Like if I vibe with them on like the initial day, it was like we were always like together, inseparable.
Right.
It's like how people say that in romantic relationships they have
Soulmates.
soulmates.
Yes.
Yeah. I like to think of my friends like they are soul healers. My
Mm.
friends like came into my life and we've been together through, I mean, I got to keep my emotions together because we've been together through everything. And I
Yeah.
mean, even just this week, we're still going through so much. Like every celebration of my life, my friends have been there. Every like bottom of the barrel shit that could have happened in my life, my friends, they've always been there. So loyalty was always one, right? But always like I like at this point in my life, I like to be celebrated. I like to celebrate my friends. Um I like to make myself available because we're not always available. Like you said, like, these hiatuses that we go on because life is happening, we're not always able to be tapped into each other like that. But because those are my sisters,
Right.
at the end of the day, like if one of us needs something, we going to all figure it out together.
Yeah. You
um
guys
and
make a
it
good.
doesn't we don't all have to kind of be on the same, like we don't all have to be doing the same thing to kind of celebrate each other and just support each other and lift each other up. And I think the vulnerability over the years has been what kept us together, just being open,
Yeah.
just being like, listen, the world sees this version of me but you see this version of me,
You know the real me. You know
right?
who
You
I
know
am.
the real me. And so you can when you can have a friend who on one day we might be celebrating a wedding, on another day we might be, picking somebody up off the floor because they're having a nervous breakdown. We have sick parents, we have divorces, children not being obedient,
Yeah.
all kinds of things that a person could think of in this life. I feel like my tribe, without them, honestly, Denise, I don't even know where I would be.
Yeah. The
I
biggest
don't have a freaking clue.
the biggest one I've noticed recently in your tribe has been the loss of a very dear and near, I don't even want to call her a friend, your sister, Ange.
Mm-hmm.
The day I saw you guys come together for Gail, her sister, was just, it was unbelievable. The day when I saw you know, a lot of those final moments and people, and I don't know, maybe it was Gail, but there were people posting it, and you guys were just rallying around her, you know, at her home with the family, and it was just like you would think that those were moments, or other people would think that those would be moments just for immediate family, but you guys are and were her immediate family, and it was just so touching to see y'all just like come together. I mean, that first of all, that's just y'all MO. You know what I mean? But to actually see it and to see y'all, and Angie was, she was the glue, man. You know what I mean? Like she kept y'all tight. Like she
That's
was the
right.
glue. And you know, I always say God gives us people not for a lifetime, but for a season. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And who knows the purpose? But we do know. We know the purpose that Ange was here. She brought so many of y'all together. She kept so many of y'all close. She was just a friend beyond friend to so many. You know what I mean? And I just remember that relationship, and I always just kind of cherish it in my heart to see you guys, and always saying like, and this is what friendship looks like. You guys had an issue, y'all figuring that shit out. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah.
Like it is what it is. You know, and the connectivity between your friend group was just like, it was just amazing to see. You know what I mean? Like you said, you have
Yeah,
had
and
friends for years with these women. You know?
yeah, and it's still we are as tight as we ever were, you know, since Ange passed away.
Yeah.
Not that we weren't tight before, but our motto is we call ourselves the commission, right?
Please, pray tell, do tell.
Yeah, so our nickname is the commission, right? And Ange and Gil are the leaders of the commission. And it's
Okay.
like, you know, we have our own little sorority.
Hmm.
And it was always positive, it was always love, it was always honestly, when I would bring home friends from like high school and college, I literally had to see if they was going to be cool with Ange and Gil.
Yeah.
Because if Ange and Gil didn't approve, and it wasn't many people that they didn't approve of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Les, that first they was
But
always so welcoming. I remember
no,
when
but the
I
thing is
met the
that
group. Yeah.
Denise, it was a discernment. It wasn't really like, remember, like they're my older sisters. So it
Right.
wasn't really necessarily like they don't like people because they're really friendly. It was a
Right.
discernment, it was an energy. And so
Yeah.
because I said my friends are my soul healers, at the end of the day, we ain't talk about flesh and blood.
I
We
love
connected
that.
in our
I love
spirit.
soul healers.
We
Yeah.
connected in an emotional way. We connected because, you know, God brought us together. Not this
Hmm.
round, but many rounds. We gonna always be together.
Hmm.
And so that's why when we connect, it was like, oh yeah, we like her too. Oh yes, and we like her too. And I'm like, I knew you guys, and it would get to a point where I'm like, stop questioning me, guys. Like this person is just like us. When
If
we
you're
met your
feeling
group of
good,
friends, Marquita, you, and you know all of the group on your side, like it was the same thing. It was like, okay, we like them too. So
right, exactly, exactly. I'm telling you, when I first met you guys, it wasn't. I wasn't even intimidated, like because it was so many of you. I remember, I think Marielle, your friend Marielle, was the first one I
yep.
met, and everybody was just so cool and down to earth. I feel like I have known you guys for so long, and I just used to be. I used to compare you to my friend group, like, yo, we got to get it together, like. We gotta get it together. Like it's just too many external issues like penetrating our friendship that just shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like there are people out here that can take women out here, friends out here that you have an issue. It doesn't need to be lingered on. If you're really friends, grudges don't need to be held. I do want to pivot though, because I do want to ask you, how have you grown over the years, and how have your opinions and values changed? Also, like, what do you think you've learned, and how did you have to reevaluate yourself as a friend?
Oh my God, so many great questions in these. Okay.
Try my
So
best.
when I was younger, of course, being younger,
Hmm.
you know, people, when you're young, you have such strong opinions about things. Like you have really finite opinions about, I'm never going to do that. Not never going to do that. I'm not. And I realized that in my life, living my life and having my friends on a journey of just in my life,
Right.
that has to change. Because if you live long enough, you honestly don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what your life is going to be like. You don't have a clue. Now, I believe in God, and I feel like because my friends are spiritually inclined and they believe we have the same sort of like beliefs and spiritual compass,
Hmm.
we all understand and we all have the understanding that at the end of the day, we're all on separate journeys, but we're doing it together.
Let me ask you a question. Has it always been everybody has had the same spiritual beliefs as you, like at the exact same time, or has
No.
everybody's journey kind of yielded towards the same place?
And it's just like a spirit, like an energy, like things that we know to be true, like just belief in ourselves, confidence in things that are, greater and grander than us. So when I felt like I was in a place and the whole group wasn't in that place, it would be one or two members of the group that was in that place. And so what I like about my friends and love about my friends is that we going to figure out how to connect.
Right.
We're going to figure out how to kind of link up and, meet each other where we are. So we're not always going to be at the same place at the same time.
Right.
But I think because we've stayed consistent, we've never let any trivial thing come between us. We've always had good communication amongst us. And it's always been so many of us that if one of us was like losing our mind, it's so many of us that we can all say, no, we gonna lean in, figure out what our sister needs. If you losing your mind, we gonna get you together.
Right.
We're not gonna let the street get you together, but we gonna figure out a way to get you together and try to not judge you, but understand where you're coming from. Then everybody goes through their own journey, and their own journey is like everybody has their moments where they're like, listen, I don't know where I would have been if XYZ didn't happen, or if you didn't share that YouTube video or that quote or whatever it is. And so we just meet each other where we are. And I feel like we still do that. And I feel like what I have with them is really the definition of unconditional love. Yeah. And if I ever had to learn unconditional love prior to being a parent, that's where I learned it.
Les, you know how very rare what you have is in this world today. You know what I mean? And I actually saw a pastor say recently that the way to get closer to God is through the people around you that are spiritually more elevated than you. It rubs off on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to be a good person. I don't want to sit in angst or to be unhealed. And I want to be able to be led by friends or family members that, are seeking a higher guidance. Maybe I'm just not there yet, but I can follow their path until I get there. You know what I mean? And that's what friendship definitely can bring, to anyone that might be seeking a level of spirituality. Yeah.
And I think, not even just on a spiritual tip, but just in any form or any level that we find ourselves on, like every part of our beingness, any relationship that we have, whether it's romantic, platonic, if this entity is not bringing you to a level of elevation of some kind or sharpening your knife, if you will, then it's not even necessary.
Right.
Like it's not a functional relationship. Like, so that's what I feel like in this big age that I have now. What I realize is that, like, my friends, whenever I think about them, I always think about Friends by the Carters. I always think about that song because I feel like they wrote that song for me and my friends.
What is that? My friends, real friends, better than your friends.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
That is definitely the one. And when I think about the lyrics, if you actually listen to the lyrics, that's what they're saying. Like everything that I do in terms of like big decisions that I make, as it relates to business, money, saving money, investing money. I got all kinds of people in my group, and we have a particular set of skills that are just miraculous.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be wealthy financially, but it's a whole nother thing to have social capital. Right. And because I have my friends, I'll never be broke. Yeah. One, they're my family. Two, because of the set of skills that they have, and I trust them so greatly that they won't steer me wrong, everything that I touch is going to be amazing because they're already attached to it. I always circle ideas around to them. I always ask them what they think. And it's not even like the whole group because everybody has a different set of skills, right? So I might go to one person for this thing and we all do it.
Yeah. It's difficult though for women that don't have that camaraderie, don't have that tribe that has different different women that bring different, like you said, skill levels and skill sets to the table. I myself am one. I myself, you know, from many podcasts ago, you and I, we've talked. I've been through a lot within the past couple years, and with that, I've kind of taken myself to a more of a hermit type of place. You know what I mean? Where I've kind of shut a lot of people out. And I've kind of removed a lot of people that, as they say, were no longer serving me. You know what I mean? And in doing so, sprouting out now, it's like I want to find that tribe. And I have great girlfriends. Don't get me wrong. I have great girlfriends, but we're friends due to the amount of time that we've been friends, not because of the values that they bring to our relationship. And in that concept, it's like I wish you well, but I really don't vibe with you. Like it's nothing wrong, but we're just on two different levels. How does someone like me find that new tribe at this age?
So, so two ways that I can answer that. So I'm thinking, right? The first way is like just hobbies, things that you're interested in. What are your things that you're passionate about? So when you find your passion and you kind of go in the direction of your passion, like you like art, you like fashion. So, you go places that have, all of the things that you like. And guess what? It'll be a member of your tribe there, I'm sure. Guaranteed, without a shadow of a doubt. And so just kind of like following your bliss and doing that kind of stuff, you're going to find your people, right? But you never really find anything when you're looking for it. It's always just,
yes.
It's always just you attract what you are.
Mm-hmm.
You attract what you are. And I'm not trying to like boast or brag about my group, but what I do know is that separately, individually, as individuals, these people are constantly being intentional about working on their individual selves.
Exactly.
So when you're constantly and being very intentional about working on loving you, when you love yourself, then everything else that you touch is it's gravy. That's just icing on the cake.
I definitely believe it's all about loving yourself first, because if you don't love yourself first, nobody's going to even want to be around you. They're not even going to vibe with you. So that's definitely key. I like that you made that point.
And then it's also like the way that you're projecting, like what the words that are coming out of your mouth, like the way that you kind of affirm over your own space, right? Like everything that I touch, it's going to be abundant to me.
Right.
My health, my finances, my children, their obedience, friendships, family, love, romance, fun, peace, and joy. All of those things are affirming, right? And so when I come and kick it with my friends, it's never no negative distortions. It's never no, oh my God, this person going to get on my nerves, or like we just don't have that kind of energy. Like we just never had it. Right. I don't, Denise, honestly, I wish I knew. I don't even know. But I feel like because they are individually on their own walks, and they're just trying their best to show up as the best versions of themselves. I feel like when we link, it's just pure magic every time. It's just laughter, chaos, fun. And I always leave those spaces with them better than how I was when I walked in. Always.
A lot of them don't understand that if you knew me 5 years ago, if you knew me 2 years ago, hell, if you knew me last week, you don't know me. You know what I mean? Like I'm completely different than the person that you come to know and love years and years ago, And with that, you have to either get on board with the person that I am now and, let me see that you have grown to be a better person. Listen, I'm not here to judge anybody, but I gotta vibe with you. I gotta be able to say, I just gotta feel it in my spirit that you are good. I don't want to be led by anybody that's just, angry or just, bitter and upset. Like we're just not there anymore. If I'm healing, you got to heal. We all got trauma. You can't be throwing it onto, your friends and people that are around you. So when people want to keep you in a space that they know or that they knew of you because it makes them feel more comfortable, how do you relate to that? How do you let people go with love?
Yeah, and also I think that's the beauty of a romantic or just platonic relationship. Like you grow with the individual, right? like that's my friends are my family. I choose them.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
choice because I choose them. I'm not going to turn my back on them because we're not lining up in the same spot in the same place at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was years when I was going to school. A lot of my friends didn't go back to school until they were like in their 30s. I was in school like doing all of that. People like some of my friends were having children. Like so it's not really so much about where you are in your life or where you are in like, your spiritual walk or anything. It's literally about just being intentional about meeting people where they are and kind of like we spoke in our previous segment when we were talking about boundaries. If that's not something that I want to do anymore, I get to say that.
Yeah.
And my friends who love me they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. All right, you ain't on that tip no more. Like, cool. Then it's an easy pivot.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if that's not something that they doing no more, we pivot.
Yeah, but I was talking no, not about people, not about when life brings us different circumstances and somebody may not be on the same level as you. I mean, when someone is not willing to grow, for example, how do you stay away from people or let people go that bring out the worst version of you?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and so yeah.
how do you let
Yeah.
people go that bring out the person that you're no longer trying to be?
I think you got to have a conversation with them. You know what I mean? Like maybe when I was younger, it was easier. Like if one of we actually had to let a friend go that was close to us that was in our circle. And that it still kind of makes me sad to think about that person and how we had to let that person go. But it was some things going on that was bigger than our control, and we couldn't help that person because they weren't willing to help themselves.
Right.
And we really just had to cut them off, and it was like a group agreement, and we haven't spoken to that person in like a decade.
Y'all had a whole
And
group
it
agreement.
was really sad. I'm sorry.
I had a whole group agreement about this. Huh? Like
Oh
y'all just
yeah, no,
came
we don't. Yeah,
collectively.
no, we don't play.
Mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
don't play because and it's not even like that. Like cutthroat, but it was just that it was getting so toxic with that individual that could put people in bad situations. And
Yeah,
nobody's trying to lose their life or go to jail or do anything like major to try to hold on to a friendship. Like if every time we get together in the group and you showing your ass and you can't keep your mental health straight and you're
yeah.
not getting no support or help,
Or
that's
trying to.
bigger than the group. And
Mhm.
so but outside of things like that, like someone trying to like hurt you or harm you or just defame you or disrespect you, um if you feel like it's getting to that point and you need to have a conversation because you want to let go in love,
Mhm.
then you don't have to ghost the person. You can talk like, listen, maybe nobody told you, but I love you. But I cannot, this is not going to work for me. If moving forward, like this cannot happen like to honor me because I want to honor you. And
Yeah.
if you feel like you can't honor me in the same vein, then we can link up from time to time. But all of this like everyday thing, like no, that's gonna have
No,
to
I
change.
agree. I agree. It's all about communication. I love you, but I don't like you, and you're hindering our relationship is hindering my evolution right now. You know what I mean? It's all about communication. I don't listen. I am not a fan of ghosting. I don't care if it's a romantic partner, a friend, or family member. If this person ever had any meaning or brought any meaning to your life, you should be able to have a conversation. You should be able to be an adult and have a
Yeah,
conversation and let them know your feelings towards a situation and just basically just back off, but do it in love. It doesn't have to be in anger. This is something that you feel from your heart, something that your spirit is telling you to do. Then you can't go wrong. There should, you know what I mean. God is going to guide you, and give you the words to say. He's going to just make sure that this meeting, goes off without a hitch. You know what I mean? That's this is just
right.
think those are things that you just have to pray on. So no, I definitely agree.
And I think more people in relationships, whether romantic or not, it just needs to be open communication because you'll be surprised at how people truly feel if you just kind of get rid of the dissonance that exists between the both of you. Like if you just talk and
Mm-hmm.
stop creating these false narratives. Sometimes people create false narratives like, oh well, I assumed that this person meant that. Did you ask them?
Oh, that's one of the things that my friend group has gone through probably maybe a year or so ago. There was just a lot of commotion. There was a lot of he said, she said, and then we all had to like get on a Zoom. We all literally had to get on a Zoom meeting one night. Like, listen, we got to get down to the bottom of this because what's working is just not working. Everybody has feelings. Everyone has, are having side conversations, off the group chat. And we love each other, like we really do, and it really pains me for us to be in this place and to be there for so long. Like I remember I was even keeping a grudge. This is before I even started any type of healing. I know I was keeping a grudge, to said friend or whatever, just based off of things that I was hearing, not seeing, but hearing that was going on. It was just making me just really kind of, I just couldn't believe that they were out here, acting in such a way, but until it was that I had that conversation with them, it was like it gave me some insight,
Mm-hmm.
it shed some light on the situation. And it just made for a better, conversation and a better relationship when we all were able to come together, opposed to having, different side conversations and not, totally being the friends that we should have been. You just got to go with your gut sometimes, and
Yeah, and then you go with your gut, and then sometimes you just got to meet people where they are, right? Like once you set your intentions and you make your boundaries known, if someone is saying, okay, you'll be surprised because most times that really is effective, right? Other times it's just like, okay, well, that's a person who really likes to drink every night of the week. Or I don't have friends that want to drink every night of the week, but I'm just saying, as an example, if someone wants to drink every night of the week, and that's what we used to do when we were, 20 years old, but now in our 40s, we're like, I don't want to drink every night of the week, then I won't kick it with that person every night of the week.
right,
I kick it
exactly,
with that person when I'm ready to do what they doing.
right,
So as an example of, you don't have to necessarily cut people off. It's just a matter in which you're handling them. But
right,
what I do realize around grudges is that we had a lot more time behind us than we
mm-hmm.
potentially have in front of us, right?
Yes,
So because I feel that way, I don't have time for a grudge. I don't. I'm kicking it with you or I'm not.
yes,
And that is as simple as pie. This is it's not even on some control type time, but like if you gonna either have to be good to me and I'm gonna be good to you or else. Because I have to put all of my energy in staying alive,
mm-hmm.
taking care of my family. So I have to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah,
Right. And so when keeping the main thing, that's an old head line that the old heads always
mm-hmm.
say. And
Mm-hmm.
so shout out to Mr. Marvin, because that's his line.
Okay, Mr.
So that's,
Marvin.
that's Gail's father. That's Gail's father. So if you keep the main thing, you can't get caught up in, the gossip. He said, she said, it's just so trite. It's so trivial. It's so small.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's so small and I'm bigger than all of it, I'm bigger than that.
Right.
And so why would I put myself in a position where I'm mad at somebody for an extended period of time?
Right.
If I'm mad at them for an extended period of time and I just can't forget or forgive whatever it is that they've done, then that needs, like you said, we're adults. I need to communicate that and I need to separate myself from that. But if it's just some regular old catty stuff and we just can't get our minds together because we met when we were in 6th grade, and a lot of us are still in 6th grade because our minds, for whatever reason, have got stuck there. Or when you meet somebody at a certain time, you're used to dealing with them a certain way, and we just don't evolve. And so at the end of the day, it's about evolution. And I got to respect your evolution, Denise. If this is your evolution, I got to respect you there because you my friend, and vice versa. And so that's how I feel about grudges.
I think a lot of us have to stop putting expectations on our friends and people
Hmm.
around us. I know Oprah Winfrey said, expecting people to do what you would do in a situation only leads to your disappointment because they live in their life.
Girl, you better live yours.
And when we're sitting here constantly expecting someone to do right by us, constantly expecting someone to be loyal and have our back, they've already shown themselves and their colors way more times than we probably ever even needed to realize. And at some point, you have to meet them where they are. You have to stop expecting the best out of someone, and just sometimes you just got to go with the worst. And if that's what they're
No, and
showing,
if the best is not what they've shown you, you're right.
Exactly. And if that's what they're showing you, then that's what you have to go with. I think a lot of us get caught up on that as friends by still wanting to see the good in people. And it can be a detriment to ourselves. I know I've been there, always wanting to see the good in people because I've been down with you for so long. I know you can change. I know you got it in you. But I can't keep hurting myself, bringing myself down, not evolving, not, living my life and doing things that I have to do because I'm waiting on you to catch up. That's a problem.
Yeah,
That,
and we have a saying in my group. We have a group chat and we talk about everything. We start the morning off with like probably some quotes, some good affirmations,
how do I get into
and
this group chat? Can you just take down my number? How do I get into this group chat? I'm about to infiltrate this shit. How do I get into this group chat?
screaming. We Desiree, she is a whole nother,
Shout out
entity
to
that kind of
Dad.
keeps us. Shout out to Des. Des keeps us together. She makes us do selfie Mondays, and we
Mm-hmm.
all have to send a picture of ourselves, and we like, sometimes it looks terrible. Sometimes we're like,
Yes. Oh
yeah,
my God, I
sometimes.
love that.
And I really am not a fan of Mondays, and some of us like look like we just got hit by a car. Other of us are just like, angry about our jobs, and our children are driving us crazy, or like the
Right.
husbands of the group. So, with all of that being said, one of our sayings, and Danae, shout out to Danae, she often tells us, no man, no woman, no child will separate us from our peace.
Mm.
And when I hear that, every time somebody puts it on the chat, if we feel like one of the kids are acting up, because it's like we all together, whatever we do, we kind of going through it together. So if
Mhm.
one of the husbands or the boyfriends or the kids or the job, whatever's happening, no man, no woman, no child should separate you from your peace. So
I
if
think
it's separating
that's
you from your peace, you got to reevaluate what's happening. You got to make some changes. And if your peace is being disturbed, it's not on that person. It's
right.
on you. Because why you keep letting yourself be moved by whatever this energy that this person is bringing. So
Yeah. No,
no,
I
that's
agree.
dead to me.
I agree. I guess wow, that was a lot, but that was it's been very insightful. You have any last words, anything you want to anyone that might just be struggling, with releasing, people that are just no longer for them, or just kind of just, keeping the friendship together. Any final words for
Yeah,
anyone?
just kind of just recapping on all of the great things that we discussed today.
Mhm.
First point is you attract what you are.
Mhm.
And you can make friends as early as childhood, and you can make friends to the day that you die. You
Yeah.
just got to be open. And I feel like when you stay open and you're following your bliss and doing things that you love and following your passion, you'll find like-minded people who are doing those things too. Second point is that does not mean you have to go around cutting off everybody because you're different.
Mhm.
Because you like fashion, Denise. I like fashion, but I'm not a fashion person. So that don't mean that we shouldn't be friends because you want to go to a fashion show and I don't. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? That just means that you can go to a fashion show and you can have a friend who wants to do that with you, but then you have another friend who wants to do something else with you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We respect individual differences and we meet people where they are.
Mhm.
But if, on third point, if someone separates you from all of the things that you say that you are and what you want to be, not what they want to be, but what you want to be, then
Yeah.
they're not really your friend.
Right.
I don't need my friends to be like me. I need my friends to be like them because I need their skills and
Right.
they need my skills. And so we can come together and it's like a big pot of gumbo and it works. So, and then four, get yourself some friends. We all need friends, and people out here like,
Oh,
no,
friends.
I'm good. I don't need no friends. You're delusional. You need friends. My friends have kept me alive. My friends are the reason why I'm in front of you and having this conversation with you today. They kept me out of jail. Okay.
Yeah.
My
Same.
friends have kept me. My friends have been with me through divorce. My friends have been with me through premature labors and surgeries. My friends have been with me through car accidents. My friends have been with me through parenting issues. My friends have been with me through spiritual breakthroughs. My friends have been with me through anxiety. My friends have been with me through symptoms of depression.
Same.
My friends have been with me and I've been with them.
Same.
And so I just feel like at the end of the day, if we can't find some people, 1 or 2 people, you only need 2. You don't need that many. You don't need as many friends as I have. But if you got 1 or 2 you can lock arms with, and they can be there with you at the best of times and the worst of times, then you a rich person. You are wealthy beyond measure.
I love that, Leslie. And I really love what you said. For me, this has really opened my eyes to having me reevaluate myself as a friend, because I really do have a really great support system. I really do have some good friends. I have some friends that kind of waver on a little bit, but I really do have some amazing friends that push me, that elevate me, that support me in everything that I do. And I can say that I may not have been the most present with my friends at times. I'm the girlfriend that I forgets all the birthdays. All the birthdays. Like one of my girlfriends literally took my phone and put everybody's birthday in my phone because I forget all the birthdays. I'm the one calling a week later like, I'm so sorry.
Girl, we got a birthday club. Not to cut you off, but we got a whole birthday club. Girl, go on.
I need that because I'm the one that's calling like, I am so sorry. But I always tell them, charge it to my mind, don't charge it to my heart, because I love my friends to death. I am like loyalty means everything to me, and a friend, everything to me. And my friends know that. And I'm the one that's like, I don't have to talk to you for 6 months. And when we come together, we bestie, but that's my outlook on it. I have friends that say, but that don't work for me. Like, I want you to be more present. I need you to be here. I want to talk to you, more than, 6 months, every 6 months. You know what I mean? And I have to say, okay, you got to compromise. You don't have to just compromise in romantic relationships. You have to compromise in all relationships, and I had to really realize that and figure that out on my own. And I'm going, like, I'm telling you, this past couple of years, this is just in my 40s. In my 40s are these aha moments. Like, I had no idea that, I was even this type of friend until I was being called on it, And there were tears and there was anger and what are you talking about? What do you mean? I'm not like that. But I was, and I had to accept it and I had to take accountability for it. And if I wanted these relationships to foster and remain in my life, I had to make changes, So, yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. If my girlfriend is watching.
No, yeah, and here's the thing. No, the truth is, that's a part of it. I feel like that's a part of the elevation. That's a part of it, right? Because once you got to go to the bottom of it to, kind of work your way back and kind of rebuild yourself in whatever that thing is. And so at the end of the day, I think you're made better by the things like the mishaps, the negative things that have happened, or, the trials. You're made better by those things. Exactly. If someone decides to be made worse by those things, then that's their prerogative. But if the goal is to learn from these mistakes and be better. How can I show up different for you? I was going through a divorce. One of my friends was getting married. Guess what? I'm going to be the best friend doing what I need to do for my friend who's getting married. It doesn't matter that, what's happening. So I just feel like you got to show up for your friends because you know why? You want people to show up for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you want them to show up for you. When it's time to celebrate you, you want them to show up. You don't want them to have a bunch of excuses on why they can't be there for you. I mean, unless it's legitimate, but you don't want them to have a bunch of excuses on why they're not there for you. And so you put on your big girl panties and you put your own life to the side and you say, I'm going to show up for this person. Like I would show up for my children. Like I would show up for, my job, whatever I'm doing. I got to show up with integrity because this is something that I said that I love. That's so I don't feel like I don't feel like it's a bad thing, Denise. I feel like what's happening in relationships, they are ever evolving. And as long as the parties stay intentional,
yes,
I don't know how it can be a bad situation.
I agree. I absolutely agree, Leslie. And on that note, I just want to say to everyone out there with a strong friend group, continue to encourage your friends and continue to be honest with your friends and have those tough conversations, because it's only going to make you guys stronger and make you better. Continue being there for one another through thick and thin, and continue encouraging each other to grow. And last but not least, continue to pray for your friends.
That's right.
I mean, I pray. I'm telling you, you don't know what they're going through, what challenges they may be facing, what they may be holding back. Just pray for your friends. Pray for your friends. And on that note, I want to thank Dr. Leslie for coming through with those gems and the jewels. She didn't drop any. She didn't drop.
I ain't dropped no bars.
She
I
didn't
ain't
drop
dropped no bars this time.
No bars.
Next time. Next time.
We're going to get her back as usual, as per usual, because we love her here. But Les, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Denise. Thanks for having me. Dope After 40.
We love having you. But everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Please feel free to check us out on Instagram at Dope After 40. I'm your host, Nisi Marie. Shout out to Les. Take care.